Hi, it's Paul again with All About Neurofeedback, and today I'm with Jake Robinet. That's how to pronounce your name, right? I've never
Yeah, you
asked you
got it.
that before, even though I've known you for what, 7 years now,
Yeah,
right?
just about.
Yeah. So, um, Jake has been doing a great job in Kitchener, Ontario, using a system called NeurOptimal. And since starting, he's expanded into a lot of different wellness modalities. But NeurOptimal and neurofeedback is still the basis of what he does. So I'd like to maybe, Jake, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what led you to work specifically with neurofeedback and NeurOptimal, that would be a great starting spot.
So, I grew up an athlete playing lots of sports, so health and wellness, and then personal growth has always been a huge interest to me, passion for me, what I like to do for myself. So, when I heard about NeurOptimal and tried it, I really resonated with what it was doing. The area it was impacting is one that most people don't think about. So I saw that there was a real interest there for me. It ended up helping me immensely. And then I turned to really wanting to share this and provide this for others as well.
Okay. And you're pretty young when you started, right? How old were you?
Yeah, I was 24 when I
Yeah.
purchased my first system and started with clients.
Okay. And that was pretty much about 7, 8 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so you've been
yeah.
doing it for a while. That's awesome. So because there's different neurofeedback systems, what got you started with NeurOptimal?
I wasn't too aware of any form of neurofeedback until I heard of NeurOptimal. Um, and so NeurOptimal was the first one that I tried, the first one that I had experience with. And like I said, I really resonated with the technology and what it was doing. When I learned about other systems and QEEG and how other systems worked, I had I tried them, I've looked into them. I wanted to provide any form of neurofeedback if it was helpful for people. I looked into providing QEEGs before and after sessions as well, so people could see some type of objective numbers around their results. But all in all, when I went through it, I really just settled on what I most resonated with, which is to look inwardly for our results. So whether that's providing subjective, how we're doing on a scale of 1 to 10, doing different filling out different forms to rate how people are feeling, and really turning inward in our present moment experience. That's what I like to do, and that's who I choose to work with. So there's other systems that produce results that other people may resonate with more so. But what I really wanted to do and to work with was people who wanted to really optimize themselves and be a part of the journey and allow their most natural, optimal, seamless results happen. And that's what you get with NeurOptimal. And so that's the road that I choose to go down. And other people who resonate with that message as well, that's who we want to, who I like to work with.
Okay. So with NeurOptimal, it's a little bit different than other ones, like in the terms of what you're able to kind of talk about and what in terms of conditions, because it's regulated by Health Canada, or is, approved by Health Canada, and in the States by the FDA. And because of that, there's certain rules that NeurOptimal must follow, and therefore its providers. And one of those is not talking about, the specific conditions like ADHD or depression or all those kind of things that it makes an impact for, although we all know that it makes a big impact on those things. But you're not really able to talk about those. So maybe in your words, like, what do you think like, who is the typical clientele that comes to you that seeks neurofeedback with you guys?
It's a good question. I'll kind of talk about that aspect is NeurOptimal is the only dynamical, non-directive neurofeedback system, which means that it's not trying to produce an outcome. So it's not treating any specific condition, where other systems aim to produce a certain result. NeurOptimal just wants to give your nervous system the feedback it needs, so that it can do what it does. So it's really an extension of your nervous system, but it's not specifically trying to produce any outcome. It's just allowing your body to naturally be at its best. And just like exercise, eating well, getting sunlight, getting in outside, people who do that are going to be healthier than people who don't. But you can't say that those things directly treat any condition, even though the people will have less of it. So NeurOptimal falls into that category of proper hydration, nutrition, exercise, all the social connection, all those aspects make us healthier, but they don't directly treat any specific condition. And NeurOptimal falls into there. So the people who we work with, or the people who would look for NeurOptimal, um, are people who have, in general, people who are going to um, pay for sessions and want to go through it, are people who have either a goal or a problem. Now, the most common things are if we have trouble sleeping, focusing, thinking clearly, we're in pain, we're exhausted. If we have a problem or we have a goal that we want to be at our best, then those are the type of people that we see in the office. People who want to be better and solve an issue in their lives. Um, but really, just like all those other things, people can choose to do it or not. But the people who are really wanting to be at their best, that's who is usually drawn to NeurOptimal.
Okay. So like if let's say as a parent, I have an ADHD child and I want to bring them in, even though we're not going to say that it's specifically going to treat ADHD, I would still likely see results for my child because it's working with kind of the whole brain function, which is where ADHD sits, right? So even though you're not really treating specific things, it's still going to improve those specific things in general, right?
So you can still collect data on it. So the data says that the the kids who come in who have or ADHD, over 80% of them will experience significant improvement of over 40% or better. But they'll also experience better sleep. They'll also be more emotionally good at connecting with others. They'll be more calm. So it's really not treating ADHD. It's just helping their nervous system regulate and operate better, which provides those results. But we just don't make the connection that directly treats them because it's not directly trying to produce a result, which is the definition of treatment. But it does provide those really high improvement percentage levels to everybody who does the training. So you're looking at it saying, is this something that will help if I do we see the signs of a dysregulated nervous system? And that's a good indicator that they'll get those types of results as well.
Okay. And even on your site, like you have research that shows NeurOptimal improving specific things, as we do on All About Neurofeedback. So it's not that, it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't affect the outcome of those things, but it's also, again, not designed to structure. It doesn't push the brainwaves a certain direction like maybe traditional QEEG does, right?
It provides results. It just doesn't directly try
Yeah.
to influence a certain condition.
Well, having said that, do you have some success stories that you can share of what you've seen with some of your clients that have come in?
Um, oh, we have tons of them. My favorite success stories are when people get to a certain point where we're tracking their progress and they're realizing how different their life is. So, from looking back and saying, "Hey, I don't have issues falling asleep anymore. I don't have it," which means they're not as exhausted. I don't have issues with depression and negative thoughts on the daily level like I used to. And they just feel like looking back, their lives are completely transformed. And those are my favorite. Those are my favorite stories. Is people whose lives are completely different, completely transformed than the suffering that they were in, whether that was pain or um, depression or something really debilitating in their life that's no longer there. Being able to feel like they can start a new business, travel, move halfway across the world, or start a family. Those are my favorite success stories that we've had.
Okay, that's awesome. So, and it's kind of showing in your your reviews as well. You have 88 5-star Google reviews, which is awesome. So that, it's really fascinating when you look through some of these reviews because people are telling their words what's happened. And I think that's really helpful for, a layperson coming in to have some reassurance that this is actually something that can, significantly impact their lives, right? And not just coming from yourself. So I think that's pretty wild. So when you look at the different challenges you're facing when you're providing NeurOptimal, what kind of things come up? What kind of challenges come up, and how do you solve them?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a good and a bad thing. It's good for the clients that they don't need to train every week for the rest of their lives. They don't need to come in um, consistently forever. But on the other side of that, it means you need constant channels for clients. So the marketing that we've done, then the referrals that people give once they have the results is another channel. Um, Working with other practitioners who can refer, whether they work with people who have had concussions or other therapists who can refer to us, are great channels as well. Um, because you need constantly to have clients because people get better and
Yeah,
they do
it's not
great and they
like
don't
putting
need to do it
somebody on a
forever.
medication, right? It's not like somebody gets the pill and they can't take that for the rest of their life. You work with people for a few months, and that's the end of it. So having other ways to help people, I think, is critical for your business success, but it's also a great news for your clients, right? Like I know you do something called bioscans, which can be pretty significant. You want to talk a little bit about that and explain what it is and how it helps?
Always like to be holistic in my own life and provide that for other people. So in general, most people will want to start with neurofeedback to help regulate their nervous systems, um, and then see what's left. And with that, we can use our bioscan, which uses light frequency to test all the organs and body systems and tissues in your body and compare it to a normative database so we can see if anything's struggling. It's not diagnostic, but it is something that can point to certain areas in the body that may need more attention. So people will say, "Oh, my circulatory system isn't doing well," and they need to do a little bit more exercise, or certain organs they can do cleanses for, and they can concentrate more on. So it's something that can help people after, in general, after the neurofeedback, um, on levels that the nervous system function just isn't really affecting.
Right. Okay. And I think another really interesting thing is how your journey, your personal journey with this is you started out working in another, I think it was a physiotherapist office when you first started.
It's osteopath and yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then over time, you developed this multidisciplinary clinic, which is really cool with multiple staff members. And, you know, that journey and then working with the clients over these years, you've been changed quite a lot as well. And you've recently, become certified with neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, which I know you're going to be expanding your offering with that as well. So why don't you talk a little bit about that? Like NLP is fascinating. I've looked at that for years, read books and all that kind of stuff. Um, Tell me about that and how that is something that could really benefit and how it benefits.
Yeah, so I saw the vision of coaching along with the neurofeedback back in the first year that I started. Is the neurofeedback really, in general, helps people with their suffering, with their symptoms. So once those are cleared, then there's certain beliefs that can hold people back that are not as much involved in the patterns that the neurofeedback does. So it's been a vision I've always had, and in this last year, I've gotten certified in this NLP program where we look directly at um, really dissolving any beliefs that are inhibited to our goals and our desires and our well-being. Um, it's a very um, it's a very natural, seamless process, but there's a specific way that you have to do things to unlock and unravel these beliefs in our unconscious. We can't just uh, consciously tell ourselves we don't want to have these blocks in our unconscious. It doesn't work that way. There's a certain way that you have to work with our unconscious, which runs 90% of our daily lives. So it's been very powerful for people to move from the neurofeedback to doing the NLP coaching. That allows them to um, really not just survive their lives and be okay, but to really take it to the next level and really attain their goals because their unconscious is now helping them to get there instead of being a block to keep them where they're
Right.
at. So it's kind of that next level after that. It's not required to do the neurofeedback before, but it's they're kind of two very powerful systems that help to clear and align our unconscious with our highest well-being and our goals and aspirations as well.
Okay. And for those that aren't aware of NLP, almost everybody is familiar with Anthony Robbins or Tony Robbins. And that's where he got his start was NLP, with Richard Bandler, I think, being the one that introduced him to it. And so it's a very powerful process, right? So I
Yes.
know that you're planning on, starting kind of another arm of your business where you're going to be able to help people at, wherever they are in the world with this. And I think that's pretty phenomenal, right? You also offer rentals with NeurOptimal. So why don't you explain just the advantages of renting their own system versus coming in the office? There's a number of them.
Yeah, the benefits of renting are that you can train any time of the day in your own home. You don't need to leave or have a specific time. So different places will have different rental options. We mostly just do unlimited sessions for a month. What that allows you to do is train not only yourself, but your friends, family, and your life as well. You can train as many people as you like, as many times as you like. So those are the benefits of the training is you get more value per session that you're doing. You get to train in your own home, and you get to train at the time that works best for you. That could be 5 a.m. or midnight
Right.
to do the training that is outside of office hours. So those are the benefits of being able to rent, and then the other side of that is you have us to ask any questions, and you have our support if anything happens during that time. And then you can continue with sessions afterwards if you like in the office or rent the system at another time in the future. From there, just to continue as needed. Everyone's very different, so it just provides that extra flexibility in terms of cost and training.
Right. Okay. That's awesome. So if somebody were interested in renting a system, what are some of the challenges they have? Is it difficult to use? Like, how does that work?
The Neuroptimal system is made to be used by the general public, so the instructions are very clear. There's lots of videos online. It's very easy to do. The one thing is that in the office, you have the benefit of having an experienced trainer in our office that can help you through any questions and just make sure that everything's okay. But in our experience, everyone's very capable of running their own sessions as well at home. Um, as well, if that's the need that they need because they may be a little too far away to drive in the office or they want to train their whole family, and no one's had any issues, so it is very very easy.
Okay. Awesome. What is the process? So like when somebody comes in, um, if they're coming to the office, what's the process they go through? Like, do you have, you just sit them down or do you do a consultation, evaluations? Like what is it that happens?
When people come into our office, they can do either an initial consult where we explain how neurofeedback works, answer any questions they have. They can see the office and what it looks like, or they can start with an initial session, which we do an intake and we record and um, find out everything that the client is currently dealing with, as well as their goals, so we can track their progress. And then we provide the neurofeedback session at the end. And then from there, we can come up with a plan or see if it's the right fit for them in reaching their goals and what'll work for them in terms of a training process from there.
Yeah, so that initial consultation and session, I know you do is a complimentary session, so no, there's no charge for that. So people have a great opportunity to come in, learn all about it, experience it for themselves before they make an investment in anything, right?
Exactly. Although we have all the data, research, decades of neurofeedback experience, um, it doesn't mean it's not new for other people. So we want to provide them the opportunity to learn about it.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So do you have any kind of advice for people that might be considering either rentals or coming into the office? Like, um, what kind of advice would you give somebody that's considering NeurOptimal?
Um, I would say to talk to us in the office if possible, if not beforehand, because we can really help see what your needs are and see what the best fit would be for you, and how you can do neurofeedback. There's lots of ways now to finding people who offer it, or having it in a rental that is really growing now. So I'd say being able to come into our office, see it for yourself, learn more about it, or at least hop on a call to address what your goals are and what you're looking for, and which option best fits your needs.
Yeah, I would imagine, especially for people that are at a distance, they're probably not going to want to come into the office, right? But give you a call and to find out, schedule something for a consultation, just to find out if it's going to be for you or not, right? And you can just visit Jake's profile in All About Neurofeedback, and it'll link to his site and to different options right there. So yeah, it'll all be kind of available right there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So where do you see the future of this going? Do you see NeurOptimal being something that's going to change or grow, or like what do you see with all this new technology coming out?
So NeurOptimal, in terms of its development, is pretty much at its peak right now. It will always grow and adapt to new features and technology. But as a technology, it's pretty much what it's doing, what it's designed to do very, very well. So as technology grows, it'll keep up with it. But in terms of where it goes, it could be anywhere and everywhere. It could be in um, schools and gyms and addiction centers and concussion clinics. It could be used anywhere and everywhere to help with learning, recovery. It can help in so many ways. So the future, I hope, is helping anyone and everyone that it can, and it'll and it's pretty much at its doing what it was designed to do already. So um, it's not something we really have to wait for. The ability to have the best trained brain is here. It's just going to
Awesome.
grow and grow.
That's awesome. Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share?
Um, that if this is something that you're thinking about, there's no harm in trying it. So we have so many people who come in, and sometimes it's the right fit, sometimes it's not the fit at this time, and it will be in the future. But the results that we see with our clients are so great, and the percentage is so high of people who have their lives improved that we really just recommend to try it. Coming in for a free initial consult, even trying a few sessions, seeing if it's the right fit for you, is can be so life changing that we always recommend it to people, if that is kind of what they're looking for at this time.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Jake. That was great. We'll say our goodbyes privately, but other than that, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your journey and how this all helps people. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.